Welcome to Connecting Hope. In today's episode, I will sit down with KenYada Blake-Washington, Division Director of the Aging and Adult Services here at the Mississippi Department of Human Services. KenYada and I will be talking about our home and community-based services as well as caregiver supports to senior adults, older adults across the state of Mississippi. In November, we celebrate Caregiver Month and highlight the impact that caregivers have on helping our older adults stay active and connected in their communities across Mississippi. Thank you for joining us, and we hope this will be informative and supportive in our work to support older adults. Thank you, KenYada, for joining us on Connecting Hope. The Division of Aging and Adult Services does some amazing work across the state of Mississippi, but it's probably one of the lesser known components of what this agency does. Number one, you do so many things that people are like, wow, you do that, wow, you do that. So first, let's start with telling us a little bit about the Division of Aging, the passionate people that work in there, because there's some amazing ladies and men that work in your division. And then also the role it plays for supporting caregivers and older Americans in Mississippi.
Sure. So thank you, Mark, so much for having me. I will definitely say the role that the Division of Aging and Adult Services plays across the state is supporting older adults, providing them with resources that align with federal, state, and local policies, making sure that they have access to these resources. A lot of times they don't know about our resources and the services that we provide. And so, yes, I'm happy to be here today to share about all of that. Some of the passion that the team displays in the Aging and Adult Services is actually phenomenal, honestly. We have some hardworking social workers, true social workers at heart. They care about the work that we do, that we provide. They get excited about doing small things like the Chef's Stable rally and making sure that they have non-perishable meals if someone doesn't have a meal. You know, we heard stories where we had individuals go to congregate meal sites and they were getting food out of the trash can. And so that's an opportunity for our nutrition coordinators to provide those additional resources to them.
One of the things you brought up is the Shelf Stable Drive. And I love that that is something that was actually started within your team to help older adults apart from, and when the services take a few days to get in, that was actually created. It was innovative within your team because they care about the people that they serve.
Right.
And that's a beautiful testimony to the culture of our Division of Aging and Adult Services. I'm going to tell you, I love going, when you said they take everything from the small things to the big things seriously. Even internally, I would say the aging team leads the way on morale and just being joyful. When there's an opportunity to have a theme and we're trying to build camaraderie between divisions, aging's in there and they're like, we're decorating to the max.
That's right.
We are going to share resources to the max. We're going to inform and educate the employees of MDHS beyond what you would think is just common. There's a deeper passion that goes from just showing up to work. It's we're here to help and educate, and one person informed is a blessing. And thank y'all for the work that y'all do there. It's also fun just being around the aging team. You get lifted up every day.
Right.
And,
thank you.
So we're talking a little bit about that. There are some components. You mentioned staying within compliance and helping seniors be protected. There's certain federal legislations also that protect older Americans and help guide the work that you do. And some of them may not know those things are there, protecting older adults from that are vulnerable because of different types of pieces of exploitation. Tell us a little bit about just overview of what your team does on that line.
So we do have our Adult Protective Service team, and they assist individual vulnerable adults age 18 and older against abuse, neglect, and exploitation. And so we have social workers that go, they are boots on the ground, they go out into homes, they ensure that this individual, they have the right to self-determination. They ensure that they have the resources that they need. They ensure that they're safe. If they need a safety plan, if they need a care plan, they provide those resources to those individuals to ensure that they're safe and at home.
So one thing you mentioned, they go into the home, and one of the interesting pieces is those social workers, those case managers can go in and find resources and connect into home and community-based services, of which during November we're going to be really celebrating and recognizing Caregiver Month.
Yes.
And so there are multiple ways that as we talk about caregiver, that your services can reach into a home or into a neighborhood or into a community. So let's talk about Caregiver Month and the importance of caregiving and caregivers, but also those home and community-based services and why keeping people active in their homes is important.
So oftentimes caregivers don't even recognize that they're caregivers, right? They're doing the work, they're doing the day-to-day, taking care of mom, taking care of dad, or a person with a disability, and they're just doing it like they don't realize that they're bathing them. They're making sure that they have food. And so under Home and Community Based, we have a program that's called National Family Caregiver Support. And this allows caregivers the opportunity to take a break, a much needed break. Sometimes they can be formal caregivers or informal. And like I said earlier, they don't recognize that they're caregivers, so they're informal caregivers. And they're doing these things, they're tired, they're it's taxing on their body and their day-to-day. And so through our area agency on aging, we provide respite services. And respite is an opportunity for a caregiver to just take a much needed break, a break that they can use from taking care of that loved one, whether that's for them going out shopping or going to the movies or getting a massage, something that they can use for them to take that break and then kind of go back into that day-to-day of that caregiving that they just do on a consistent basis. But then we talk about other programs and we get into other home and community-based service programs that we have. We have our nutrition program, and so we have two components under the nutrition program. We have our home delivered meals. I know oftentimes older adults in the community, they love to say Meals on Wheels. We have a state provider, which is Trio Community Meals, and so they provide our meals for our older adults, but we also have our congregate meal settings where individual older adults, they can go in a congregate setting, play activities and games, cards, bingo, do whatever they want, but also it helps with social isolation. Yes. So making sure that we combat that so that they're not at home, they're not lonely. Like during COVID, we know a lot of individuals, they were isolated, they were at home, but these places, these focal points in the communities allow older adults to get out, to socialize, to be active, to enjoy other individuals as they age. We have all of our information and referral programs through our area agency on aging, so that provides opportunity for our older adults or caregivers to just learn about the services and be referred to the services. Our homemaker program is simply what it is, providing light housekeeping to those older individuals across the state. We have transportation programs allowing older adults to get back and forth from grocery shopping or to doctor's appointments, or just doing something fun in the community and they need a ride. We also have our chore service program. Again, it's similar to homemaker, where a person is coming in and they're providing that light housekeeping for those older adults.
So number one, I'll give you some oxygen.
Oh, thank you.
Because after what you just said, that's a lot to take in.
Yes.
One of the things that sticks out is that social isolation, the impact it has on the overall health outcomes of a senior, and how by keeping someone active in their community, by making sure that they're getting support services in the home or in the community, you're actually helping the community that they live in continue to thrive, because you're bringing that wisdom, you're bringing that experience, and you're sharing that within the younger generations in that community. But you're also protecting people's financial resources by keeping them in their home longer, but coming alongside helping also prevent those caregivers who have maybe their own social isolation, get a break and a rest. And I will tell you, for for a few months, I helped care for my elderly parents, and not knowing that there was a support piece out there. When I found out about all these programs, it was a relief to know. It was like a breath of fresh air. I said I was going to give you oxygen. Y'all kind of give caregivers, and that's what Caregiver Month kind of highlights, giving caregivers the opportunity to simply breathe.
Yes, take a break, breathe, enjoy yourself, relax, go have that opportunity to kind of decompress from your everyday and just take a break, yes.
So all of these programs kind of work. It's not you take this program and you work within it. It's kind of having this piece of weaving it all together. And the important part is your experts on your team, those that we work through, in many cases, the area agencies on aging. So we're in all 82 counties connected in there. We'll put a link to the area agencies on aging on in the comments section to make sure that they can find the resources closest to them. We'll also put some links to our website. But working with the area agencies on aging as well as other components within the state. Talk about that infrastructure that's there to push these caregiver services and these homemaker services into the community.
So working with the Area Agency on Aging, as I stated earlier, they're our focal points in our community, so that they're the direct line to those caregivers in your local counties and municipalities. And so they have outreach workers who are available to assist. Even if you need to call through INR, if you need to call your local area agency on aging, they are there to provide the information, but also resources. And then they partner with local providers that are, again, the beat of the community, and they know the community. And so they can say, oh, I knew Miss Shirley, I picked up Miss Shirley, and this is just not a real person, just making them up if there is a Miss Shirley out there. But I knew Miss Shirley and I'm picking her up, or Miss Shirley didn't come to work, she didn't come to the door today. When I was dropping off her home delivered meal, we may need to check on her. So they are truly out there making sure that older adults have the resources, but they also check on them and make sure that they're okay and make sure that they're getting the services that they need.
So the key word there is community.
Yes.
That these older adults have community, because again, that isolation is one thing, but not having someone who understands their habits, the way they live their normal day, and if something is off, they're getting checked on, they're getting thought about, and that's a deeper element. That's professionalism, but it's also compassion, right. And it is part of the culture that you've brought to the Division of Aging and Adult Services, and that you've pushed down to our sub-grantees, our partners in that. And I love that you mentioned it moves beyond the AAAs, it moves into churches, it moves into congregate meal sites, community centers. All of those pieces really work together in a community.
Yes.
So what I want to look at now is kind of bringing it together, home and community-based services. You mentioned some of those resources that it does, and also our congregate and home delivered meals. Mm-hmm. I heard a statistic. Your team facilitates the feeding of 1.5 million meals.
Yes.
A year.
Annually, yes. And so when we say team, that's including the AAAs, that's including our congregate meal sites, our senior centers, our adult daycares. They have these meals provided through our vendor Trio Community Meals, and the older adults absolutely love the meals. If you've lived on this earth and you have made it to 60, that is the eligibility requirement for our meals. There is no income requirement or any program. Let me not just say meals, any program under the Older American Act, you have to be 60 and older.
You just got to be 60.
You just have to be 60.
That's not computing with me, number one, because I'm getting closer to 60. But even more so, it's that simple.
Yes.
A lot of people think that with a lot of MDHS, as with a lot of MDHS programs, there may be some eligibility limit. But it's that simple.
It's that simple.
I think that's a beautiful thing, that one of the things that, because 60 and over, you're bringing also in those congregate meal sites and other programs people from different backgrounds, and they're able to connect and still continue to learn from each other. That's just, for me, a cool piece. Again,
60 and older.
60 and older.
That's right.
That's just an amazing piece. So let's go to that eligibility piece. You mentioned 60 and above, but there's also an interesting caveat in that in regards to what happens if the spouse may be a little bit below 60 and is a caregiver.
Yes, so I failed to mention that. So if a spouse is below the caregiver, so say they're 59 or 55, they are able to participate in our services and our congregate meal sites and receive that meal as well because their loved one or their wife or their husband, they are 60. So if they are below the age of 60 and they are married to an individual, they are able to receive services as well.
I love that. You're not only keeping an older adult who's eligible active in the community, but you're keeping them and their spouse connected in the community.
Yes.
That's a powerful tool to be able to touch people's lives with. So I was in a budget hearing the other day, and it's interesting the cost that I heard of, and I'm going to get into why the importance of of having community-based home and community-based services and keeping people active. The cost of monthly long-term care is about $10,000 to $12,000 a month. But the cost to pay for home health care or home care services is only about $2,000 a month. And so the economic strain that could put on a family's budget, their life savings, that's a critical component, especially those who are still struggling to survive anyway, financially. Let's talk about the importance of those home and community-based services for really leaving generational support to the family that they're left behind, making sure that people can stay in their homes and they can keep that property in their family. All of those things work together. Y'all's community-based home and community-based services are really meant to alleviate financial burden, emotional burden, social burden. Let's talk a little bit about that importance there.
Yeah, you pretty much said everything. So with our home and community-based services, we prioritize individuals staying in the home, in the community, opposed to an institutional setting. When you think of institutional settings, you think of bills and family members getting bills, or even that actual individual older adult having to maintain a bill or receive this bill. But when we are able to prioritize home and community-based services, when they're provided at home, then we're able to alleviate the system, the state system or the federal system, from that burden by providing those different resources and not being so costly from an institution opposed to in the communities.
So specifically within those home and community-based, I'm going to go back to the eligibility. It doesn't matter your income.
Right.
It's 60. And
It's 60.
If you're over 60 and let's say you're having trouble moving about the house, cooking your meals or folding your laundry or cleaning the house, talk about that. What other, and kind of, let's get a little bit deeper into what somebody may get with some of those homemaker services or even that transportation piece.
So with the homemaker services, we have light housekeeping, so mopping the floor, making the bed, maybe washing the dishes, the dishes. So with transportation, we look at going from your home to your medical appointment and from your medical appointment back home, or maybe even to your congregate site to see your best friend. So you're going home to your congregate site to hang out with your best friend that you may have met at the community center, in that congregate center or that senior center, doing those activities, and then that transportation ride is coming back from that community center, congregate center, and then it's going back home. So those individuals are able to, participate in those different avenues.
If you want to find a congregate meal site, go to our website.
Yes, go to our website, or you can reach out to our Mississippi Access to Care Center. That's our No Wrong Door Center. They provide option-free counseling to anybody, honestly, older adults, caregivers, or any individual who wants to access long-term care services and supports. They're available for you every day to access those resources.
So we've talked a little bit, and we're going to move. We talked about meal services and how those tie in to keep people connected in the community, the home community-based care, the transportation. All of those things work together. Mm-hmm. So how can caregivers and older adults learn more about the programs and connect to assistance?
I will say right now we're doing a really great thing, and this is a federal requirement where we are creating our 4-year state plan. We are going to post it on our MDHS website, and there's a comment period. There's a 30-day comment period where you can voice any concerns, any ideas that you may have to move us forward in the state of Mississippi for older adults. It's an opportunity for you to voice your opinion and make your voices be heard, as we would say, and type those comments in so that we can read them and we can utilize that in our state plan and kind of move it forward. But outside of the state plan, you can connect by calling our office directly, reaching out to your local area agency on aging, or reaching out to those MAC centers, those Mississippi Access to Care centers, to learn and get information about everything that we discussed today.
So the other piece is places. Do y'all need congregate meal sites? Do you need additional community entities to get involved with those programs?
Yes, I think anyone who's interested in developing a congregate meal site, or they're wanting to start some type of home and community-based program, reach out to those area agencies on aging. We allocate the funding to them. They put out requests for proposals, and so that's an opportunity for an individual who is interested in providing services to older adults that they can kind of connect and provide those resources.
And if you're confused where you might find your area agency on aging in Mississippi, majority, if not all, are also housed within their local
planning and development districts, yes.
So if find your planning and development district, you got the South Delta, Central Mississippi, you've got Three Rivers, you've got about, 9 or 10 across the state. So if you can't find your area agency on aging, you can also contact your planning and development district, who can connect you in there. They're embedded in every community and assigned a county across every state.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the way that they can connect. Are there any other programs or support services that people should know about? I'll give you a lead. Open enrollment.
Yes, I thank you for reminding me. We do have our state insurance assistance program, SHIP for short, where they help Medicare beneficiaries and those caregivers access their Part A, their Part B, C, any Medicare Advantage plan. These are trained SHIP counselors across the state in our 10 area agencies on aging, and they are there to assist any Medicare beneficiaries navigate the daunting task of Medicare, because it can be a lot, obviously. And so they're there to assist them with any question. And yes, we are starting open enrollment during October, and it goes all the way until December. And so that's an opportunity to kind of engage with our area agency on aging, our SHIP counselors, so that they can get those resources and sign up for those services.
And we'll put a link to our website and the MAC centers that are doing those, that they can connect to that. For caregivers, you're trying to help your parent or your grandparent or your own spouse. You're trying to navigate that. Are there any other services that kind of that look like they're on a horizon, that maybe even if the Division of Aging isn't doing, there's other ways that we can push people to remain active in their community and to support caregivers this month in November?
Well, I failed to mention our state long-term care ombudsman program, and so they advocate for resident rights in facilities, but those individuals do have caregivers potentially, and so if they are needing any support in our nursing home facilities or personal care facilities, they can reach out to their district and local ombudsman. We also have legal services. We have a legal service developer here on staff with us, and her job is to train all of the legal service providers across the state. So if an older adult is interested in getting a will or a POA, those individual legal service providers can help those older adults and caregivers access those resources as well.
So there's another audience that I want to touch on quickly before we're done. And I was blessed when my parents were getting older. We lived a little bit across town, but we had some very engaged neighbors. They saw my parents were starting to struggle, and not only did they contact me, but they contacted some other entities within the community. So if a neighbor sees their neighbor struggling, I love that you mentioned APS. It's not just the fact that somebody may be taking advantage of a vulnerable adult, if you see that the older adult is incapable of caring for themselves, you can also report that
Yes.
to APS, because they may not do anything except send the case manager and evaluate how they can connect them into these services. So let's real quick, what does a neighbor need to know, or a concerned community member that sees that, or even law enforcement and fire that may see that when they go into a home?
What we like to say, if you see abuse, know abuse, report it. Any type of abuse, report it. We have call center individuals with Adult Protective Services that will take your report. They will evaluate if it's valid or not, and they will go out, the social workers will go out into the home and work with that family to ensure that they're safe and work on those safety plans.
So as we close our time together, I'm going to turn this over to you. What message, words of encouragement would you like caregivers and older Americans in Mississippi to know? Just one or two messages that you really want to leave behind for them.
That we are here, the Division of Aging and Adult Services here, but also the Area Agency on Aging is also out there across the state, and they are able to help you and assist you with those resources. You just have to call and ask, and we will be there to support.
I'm going to ask that one question again. You have to be messing around with me. 60?
60.
Only 60?
Only 60. Only 60.
That's my favorite part.
I'm glad.
That is my favorite part, because it says everyone
Exactly.
is deserving of help.
Right.
Thank you for joining us today. I tell you all the time, your joy and the passion in what you do. Thank you for being passionate and not only coming to work, but doing it, as our executive director says, with excellence. And that doesn't just reflect to you. I will say that to your team, all of the people that work within the Division of Aging, the AAAs, and even the congregate meal sites that I've been privileged to work. There's a passion for serving Mississippi's older adults, and we thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.